Hi friends, this is Mark from playABLE Games doing an accessibility walkthrough and review for Far Cry 6 by Ubisoft Games to determine if it is playable for those with visual, auditory, cognitive, or physical impairment. So I just got the Tobii Eye Tracker 5 and got Far Cry 6 as a promotional game. So I thought I would show you guys the accessibility features of the game, as well as show off what the Tobii can do within games. During the initial boot of the game, there is an accessibility settings that come up. So you can sit here and flip all the things: vision, cognitive, motor, hearing, color blindness on, those type of things. Now these are quick preset settings. I'll go through here in just a second through all of them and show what each preset looks like, what gets flipped, so you know going in when you flip these presets what exactly you are getting into.
Menu narration is disabled.
So within the menu, in the options, their first option is the accessibility, and they go through and they list it as vision, hearing, motor, cognitive, motion. And so I'll kind of go through the different things. In the vision section, we have this preset. So on all of the accessibility options in the accessibility menu that you come up with first, this is kind of going to be the presets. And I'll kind of turn it on real quick, let you guys see what's on in the presets, so that if you choose that when you start up the game, you know exactly what you're getting in for. So with the preset, the first thing that's going to come on is this menu narration. And there's two different voices. There's a female voice
Menu narration is enabled.
And a male voice.
Menu
And you can change the speed at which they talk.
3 of 20. Fast. Press right bumper to switch to the hearing tab. What? Normal. Slow. Normal. Fast. Normal. Slow.
Menu narration is disabled.
So you can go through and you can turn on menu narration, which is really, really nice. Definitely help with that. The user interface gets larger and smaller when you toggle this. So definitely helping in that regard. Also enemy boundary, or enemy outline. What's really, really cool about this, I like this, is that you can go through and you can choose what color you want the enemy, and it's giving you a representation on the screen. That is one nice thing about all of the settings on here, even subtitles or what have you, is you can see what it's going to look like in-game for you. So here you can see that one of the presets is that all of the pickup items have an outline, and you can choose set outline. So I probably prefer white myself, but really you can go through and you can choose whatever you want that outline to be. Subtitles. Now, you could choose the size of the subtitle. And the subtitle in-game is the same size as the preview within the menu. And you can have it where this multiple colors changes the name. So you could say, I don't want a name, I want to know who's talking, and I want the name, the color of the person's name, and that will change based off of the person. You can have the background and adjust it and see. So all of these things, I like how they are showing you what it will look like in game and the size that it's represented. So the crosshair, once again, you can see what it looks like. So you can choose whether you want sway with the reticle in the middle. So whether it'll sway with the game, and you could choose to turn that off. Aiming assist you can turn on. Lock on aiming you could turn on. How long you want that to stay locked on. You can change the shake of the camera to minimal and full, and once again you can, some of these options you can change within the cognitive setting, within the motion setting. So I'll also go over that. And then poison and drunk effects off. I usually don't like these in games myself, so a good way to have that where you can turn it on and off. So within the vision, this is, to me, what I like the most about what they have. So they have the colorblind mode, and it is part of the vision preset. Now within this, the colorblind settings change the color of the user interface to be more friendly with colorblind. So it's the elements on the screen, not necessarily the colors of the game. So on it, you can customize exactly what all of these elements look like to you. So you can go, you know what, I don't like what they chose for me, and I'm going to change all of it. I'm going to make it look all different because I want to. You can customize what color each person's name is. You can customize the colors on the map. This allows you full customizability on all those colors. The only thing that it's not changing is the main colors within the game. So if you find that you have some conflict with some colors in the game, that could be difficult, but allowing you the option to manually change all of this is pretty amazing. Right, friends, is it playable for the visually impaired? I'm going to give it a 9.5 out of 10. There are so many features for the visually impaired on this. You got the vision presets that are nice, menu narration, user interface scaling. You could take away the camera shake and the color blindness settings and color changes that you can customize to whatever you want. So within the hearing setting, these are the presets, and you can see that it automatically turns down the radio music volume, turns down the music itself, turns down the sound effects, so that you can hear the dialogue, and that is awesome. I really like that because I'm usually turning around some of the other things so I can hear the dialogue myself. So that is really great. By default with the hearing preset, the subtitles will be on. The subtitle size will be medium, but you could definitely turn that up to large if you want. So by default on the vision preset, the subtitle size is large, but within the hearing preset, the subtitle size is medium. Also, the background is semi-transparent, not fully black. So a very nice thing that they're going, okay, they're not necessarily visually impaired, but with their hearing, they're definitely going with the subtitles. So these presets are pretty dialed in for the hearing. This is also another thing. So the sound subtitles. This also gives you the direction that the sound is coming from. And as you can see in the game, the sound indicator says that a vehicle is coming up behind me. That he honked his horn. And, well, it's pointing the direction that the sound is coming from. This speech to text is when you're playing on co-op. So if someone says something, you have what they say, or there's a chat wheel that's really, really nice to help out with that. Another feature for hearing, we're going to jump over to the cognitive section, this audio dynamic range setting. This determines the amplitude between the loudest and quiet sounds of it. So if you want the full range of the audio, you can set it to full. You can set it down to night mode as well. But it allows those with auditory processing issues to be able to adjust the sound so it works for them. Alright friends, is it playable for the auditorially impaired? I'm going to give it a score of 9 out of 10. It's nice that it has the presets, the adjustable levels, the subtitles, the sound direction, which is really nice, speech to text, chat wheel, and the dynamic range. What it does lack is more adjustable levels. I would love to see just a few more customizable settings to change some of the levels of the sound effects. Within Motor, once again, you have the Motor presets. And what it's doing is most of the stuff is it's taking the hold options, changing them to toggle, as well as taking off the effects that are moving around and involving multiple repeated presses of the keys. And taking off vibration, adding aim assist, lock on, driving aim assist. Now this is nice because as you're driving, it'll automatically aim to the enemies, which is nice. So you don't have to sit there and try, especially if you have some motor difficulties, to drive and aim at people. Convert holds to presses. So this is taking where you have to hold and changing it to a double press. What I've seen this happen is in like trying to pick up stuff, instead of holding to open a chest, you're double pressing the key in order to open up the chest. I really like this, the sprint incline. So instead of just making it where you have to click in your stick to do it, just moving the stick all the way forward will activate sprint. So if you don't want to sprint, don't push the stick all the way forward. Kind of nice. The weapon wheel toggle, and I'll show you that here in just a second. That's opening up the weapon wheel and closing the weapon wheel. And then I have this no stick presses mode. I like this. So if you're using an accessibility controller or a joystick, you don't necessarily have a press in the stick on that. So you can, this will change that stick press to a button, and therefore you don't have to worry about having an accessibility controller that needs that. And this last setting, this is if you have a PlayStation 5 controller. So this will change how much haptic feedback comes back through the controller as well as through the adaptive triggers, which I've tested and works. Okay, so as you can see, controller works great and Copilot works just fine. So you can do it. And here's an example of the sprinting forward. All I do is I just push the stick forward and he goes to sprint. So walking and sprinting automatically happens. Don't have to worry about it. Another cool thing about this game is it uses the Tobii eye tracker. And as I said earlier, I got this game for buying the Tobii eye tracker. So within that, there's a lot of different things that you have that you can set. And I'll show you a couple of those. So extended view. Now this does not mean that you're controlling the game and looking around with your head. It's extending out the size of the screen with the turn of your head. So I'll show you kind of what extended view looks like. So as you can see, it's turning and looking around. Now the aiming isn't changing, but as I turn my head around, it is looking around. But when I move the stick to look around, it is looking around. So what this does is when you're aiming down the sight, you can still look around. These other things are settings that you'll have to play around with and see what works for you. I've actually bumped up both of these myself. Now aim at gaze. Now this is really nice. When you have aim at gaze, I'm looking at that wooden post with the blue thing off a little bit to the right. And when I pull to aim, it automatically clicks to that. So I'm going to look at something different. I'm looking at that rock in the background. And so it aims to where you want. And which is really nice for motor, because if you have difficulties, you can have it aim to whatever you're looking at. And so lots of different things that you can set based off of your gaze, which awesome. So open the phone camera the direction you are looking. Mark an enemy when you're looking at them with your gaze. You can control your little pets, they're called amigos, with your gaze. So lots of different things here motor wise that are really, really helpful. So as I explained earlier, all of these settings have some presets. So the cognitive presets, if you want to set them, takes off a lot of the swaying, just like in the motor, a lot of the repeated presses, like in the motor, turns on subtitles, has the driving aim assist automatically set. Aim assist already set. The user interface is larger. The sprint is automatically set if you push the stick all the way forward. Enemy colors are outlined, pickup items are outlined. And then you have this audio dynamic range, which I covered in the hearing section of the video. And one nice thing, you can just come in here and you can automatically set all of those motion effects on the screen off with just a click of the motion preset. Kind of nice. Alright friends, how does this do for mental and physical playability? I'm going to give it a score of 9.5 out of 10. It does have some great presets, aim assist, lock on. You're able to do QuickTime events with a single press, take away a lot of the camera shakes, sprint without even having to click is nice, changing stick clicks to buttons. There's a lot of cool things. But my favorite is the Toby, where you gaze, you can aim at, you can command. There's lots of great features that involve the Toby Eye Tracker 5 integration. Alright, so looking at the achievements for Far Cry 6, most of them do look fairly achievable. I do like some of the co-op ones. Now, some people may not have co-op friends, but accomplishing a task with a friend is kind of nice. That way, if you have some difficulties, that friend can help you out. There are some solo campaign only things that are available. The things that are going to be pretty tough are right down here where you have to complete these special operations on a specific difficulty. Those automatically bring down the achievement score for me, just because if someone has some sort of cognitive or physical limitation, those things are definitely going to be harder to accomplish. And so as a result, the score I'm going to give this for the achievements is an 8 out of 10. Alright friends, time for a wrap up. How did it do on the overall playability? I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. It's got a lot of great presets. A lot of good little settings that you can change. Integration of third-party controller like the Toby Eye Tracker. Ubisoft did a lot to make this game accessible to a lot of people. So go out, buy it, play it, and enjoy it.
Sure, I'm there yet. You got time. You said your chopper was shot down in the invasion. Can you fix it?
So I can fly you to the Yankees?
No, that's...
It's grounded, but I'm working on it. Patience, Daddy. Now it's time for Juan Cortez to show you how to make something out of nothing.